It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. Wanted to make this quick video. I'm out of the office today, but my employees sent me several emails and texts saying that customers have been receiving this letter from Equifax now. Now, we talked about the TransUnion letter yesterday, where it looks like one of their stall tactics that they're running right now, or the TransUnion Act is actually doing two stall tactics. They have one where they try to scare people into believing that you have to disclose if someone is helping you repair your credit, that you have to, and that you can't be smart enough to make the letters. That obviously you're just a consumer and you wouldn't have knew uh, that the code 609 or 605 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that they can't do certain things to you that they've been doing. You're just not supposed to. And then they started sending out the ID type letters, which says that your ID is not matching. And now, today, looks like a lot of customers got it from Experian. These are delay tactics that they try to use, which is really crazy that they even do this, because if a customer, unless this happens the first time, when on the first dispute process of a customer, it's kind of crazy that it would happen when someone is maybe disputed, one item one month and another item another month, and they accepted their ID before and then they didn't accept it afterwards. And to even like make it even wilder, for lack of a better word, they're accepting information from furnishers solely based on one thing. One thing is, when they send the 30-day letter to say that, I mean, debt collectors, not creditors. When a debt collector sends out a letter and you don't respond within 30 days, they can put that information on your credit report without matching all of the data points. They just have to match two data points. Don't take my word for it. Look it up online. If you know a debt collection company owner, you can ask them. You can ask TransUnion. Maybe they'll tell you, or one of Equifax or Experian. But they only have to match two data points. That's why a lot of times when we're disputing for people and we're sending in information, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get information so they can pass it over to the furnisher. So the furnisher is like, oh, we didn't have that, we didn't have that, but we had these two things, and now we had the opportunity to put that in there because the bureau gave us the information that we were missing. That's why you have to be very, very careful if you talk to a debt collector on the phone. Uh, I haven't said this in a while, but if a debt collector calls you and you're trying to resolve the debt, like you know it's yours, or maybe you don't know it's yours. If you don't know it's yours, that's easy, because you're just saying, "Hey, send me the stuff so I can uh, dispute it and officially say that it's not mine." But now let's just say that the debt is yours. Debt collector buys the debt, and now they're calling you about the debt, which they cannot call you without sending you the letter. If they ever call you without sending a letter, they that's a violation of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and they can be sued, and you'll get $1,000 for that if you can prove it. All you have to do is on the phone call, and then you can ask them for a copy of when the letter was sent out, and they cannot use a service to send the letter. They have to do it. If they use a service to send the letters, they've just disclosed your private information, private financial information, to a third party. Portfolio recovery, or one of the, I made a video a few weeks ago, or about a week ago, where a debt collector got in trouble for doing that. They cannot do that. But they call you, you say, hey, okay, send me what you have in writing. I want to see what you have in writing, because maybe they'll say that they did send you a letter. They'll say we need to send it twice. They'll actually say, which is, I've heard uh, uh, when we've called on the behalf of individuals, where the debt collection company will say, we did send a letter. And then we'll say, well, can you send it again? And they say they have to get permission to send it again, which is, they got a lot of rules, but they break a lot of rules also. So you never want to give them information. So you say, send it to me. If you have my information and it's right, it's going to get to me. I'm not going to verify nothing. Maybe you have to verify the last four of your social, but you're never going to get them the full or something, some data point that you can ask them to tell you, because you call my number, so you're supposed to have all this. You just tell me what you got. Let me say yes or no to it. So they are using these letters to do stall tactics, but just so everyone does it the right way, we need to make sure that you have a copy of your ID. They specify the different types of ID that you can have. You need to have a bill that is less than 2 months old. They're going to look at that, either the statement date on the bill, and you don't need to send them the whole bill. You just send them the part that has your name and address. But they're going to look at that date. If they have that date, that's going to give them a way that they can disqualify that dispute process. So that, they want to make it hard on you. They want to make it, even though it's you, they know it's you, they want to make you have to keep proving who you are to keep putting the stuff on there. And then you can say that they do actually, if it gets to the furnisher, debt collectors who place stuff on your credit reports, they do make them prove if it gets to them. A lot of times they do a database search and they'll say it's verified, and you know that it's wrong, and it just never made it to the debt and over again. You got to make them do it. You got to change it up. That's just part of the game. That's just the way it works right now. So if you're one thing that catch that I saw that they were sending stuff back is now if your ID, some people move and they just procrastinate on getting their address on their ID. If your address is not your current address, you're going to need to send two statements, a bank statement or something that has your address and a bill. Send two forms plus your ID uh, when you send your disputes. You got to do that because they're going to kick it back. And it says here that you can use your social security card, your data. Well, they're saying what they need to see. What you need to have is your full name, including middle initial, social security number, complete address for the past 2 years, date of birth, copy of government issued identification card, such as driver's license, state ID, etc. I wonder what the etc. will be. You said you'll take etc. That I can draw it on a piece of paper and draw a picture of me. And then a copy of a utility bill, bank statement, or insurance statement, etc. So just make sure that it's a bill. Make sure that it's less than 2 months old because they won't. They'll start kicking those back. That's just something that they've been doing. I want to briefly answer a few questions that I had on YouTube that I get a lot. Like this is, I must not be making it fully clear in the video. If you get a 1099-C cancellation of debt form from a creditor or debt collector, that's where they've given up. They want the money reported as income to you. And you can also get this if you did a settlement. They can send a remaining amount to the IRS and try to get the IRS to make you submit it as additional income. If you get those, yes, you do have to file them. And let me tell you why. And they've really changed this over the years for business and everything. When I get 1099s from the credit card processors that I use or vendors that use my services for other businesses, they send a 1099 and the IRS, they send one to the IRS, they send one to you. And the IRS is just like waiting, like at your door. Like, you better put that in there. You better file that. If you don't, they just like waiting on it. And so you better put that in there. So if when you're filing your taxes, there's going to be a spot where you have to put in 1099. G income is from, like, if you're doing have a business, but this 1099-C needs to be put in there. Also, it asks you that question because they're going to consider that uh, income, but you can file a form of insolvency. I've had that, and I'll put the link below this video. You just fill out this easy form, one page, very few questions, and you won't even have to pay, uh, have that added to your income. Bottom line, what the question is do you owe more than the money that you have on hand? Bottom line, that's what it is. So if you have a house, you got a car, bills, all this other stuff, your assets that you have is lower than the amount that you owe. Your liabilities, you're going to be insolvent. You're not going to end up paying nothing on that. It's not tricky. It's like they're just saying, hey, just file. It's all about just filing a document. Someone had on here about Santander subprime lenders. Mississippi sued Santander, which was they did that additionally than the other 34 states. And yeah, if you have, you might have missed the boat on the lawsuit. A lot of people missed the boat on that, but the issues that they have that they had that made the whole lawsuit come about, you could be experiencing that. And there was someone that sent me a letter, I think it was from Facebook, and they had said that uh, they had an attorney draft up everything and they sent it to Santander, and then they sent back a letter and they said that we don't see any issues with your loan. With the it don't look like the dealer that did everything that like they did everything right. How do you know? They're saying that without the individual's input. And when I looked at the letter, I was like, your attorney actually did not say what you believe was done wrong. Do you believe that they did something with your income, like they fluctuated, blew up your income when it shouldn't have been to get you qualified? Even though that could have benefited you to get the card, they still lied on that application. Maybe they deflated your expenses. That's a lie. That's something that they put in there. Maybe they power booked where they added all these features to the card on the state on the contract, but that stuff wasn't on there, or it was inflated. You didn't know maybe the internal score. You didn't know that you were actually getting approved by Santander's score when you thought you were getting approved by your credit score. That's in the lawsuit, an internal score. The problem with the internal score is that maybe they didn't shop you really with other people, but they said Santander was the one that approved you, not these other ones. You don't know. So you gotta have your attorney or whoever's working with you or yourself. You gotta look at that lawsuit and you have to put in there the reasons why. And this could set it up for either a nice settlement where we showed and it could be a lot of back and forth, and you got to get it to the executive team, not to customer service. But it could set you up for a nice settlement. It could set it up for where they forgive the debt, or it could car, they could do a settlement. And we've had clients, or we've had even people here on YouTube that just fought back and forth, and they ended up getting 80% off on their car, 50% off on their car, 60%, just depends on situation. Uh, Another question someone had here. Uh, Someone that put, yeah, that they getting a vague letter from TransUnion. You know what the thing that the person said over here is that they got a vague letter from TransUnion and they thought it was a fake letter because of the way that they had the information on there. Here's another one here. It said a vague letter that was a bunch of mumbo jumbo got me nowhere. We need to get together for a class action lawsuit. Okay, yeah, that was for that one. Let's see here. I think that's it. I'm going to be looking at the debt that's being released in the market. There's another pool I saw in my email box that there's another big batch of debt that's being sold. Um, Please Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Please hit the notification bell to get notified of new videos that are being released. Uh, please like, please ask your questions, post your comments. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. That's the way that we're going to repair credit. If you need your credit reports and scores, because everything starts there. If you get your reports from this website, I'll even review them and we'll tell you what we can do for you. Go to your3scores.com. You got debt collectors coming after you. Get my 3-pack of letters. One is a statute of limitations letter to stop debt collectors who have time barred slash debt that's past statute of limitations to collect. Legal statute of limitations. Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. I also give you a cease and desist collection activities letter, which is a very good letter to stop debt collectors because it's going to ask them questions similar to what Trans Jr. was saying. You just couldn't be smart enough to ask us this question. Well, I'm giving you this cease and desist letter, and a debt collector might say, you can't be smart enough to ask us that question. And but yeah, you're going to be asking them. They're going to think you put it together. All you do is put in your information, send it to them certified. You might be happy and surprised when you don't have that $1,000 collection that they had. That they send you a letter saying that they're going to cease collection activities. And then I give you a debt validation letter where you may need that for some back and forth. Look at what it is, and you'll know how to use that letter to respond back and forth with debt collectors. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of the Credit Repair Shop.